Welcome to the Gentleman's Motor Racing Team, where we compete in motorsport as a fun experience. And we're probably unique as we're mainly sponsored via crowdfunding by lovely people like you. We recently competed in the Phil Collins South Down stages at Goodwood in our classic rally mini. In this episode, we're going to look at all the things that broke, don't work anymore, investigate some of the strange noises, upgrades for next time, and look at the damage that I caused after hitting the pallet on the main straight chicane. Okay, before we start, all these things that we're going to look at now, we will cover in depth in a future episode, including a front to back nut and bolt check to make sure this car's ready for its next rally. If you don't want to miss that, think about subscribing or maybe even click that notification bell. And if you like this episode, give it a thumbs up because that helps our little channel. First thing, funny noises. Yeah, bizarrely enough, when I was going around the fast left-hand bends, there was this proper, I don't know what noise, binding, grinding, humming type noise. And that was the hard thing, trying to explain it when we got back into service. So I said to the service crew, my mate Dave Goodwin and Scrap Heap Sean, I goes, can you have a look? And they went, yeah, of course we can. The noise was coming from the back of the car somehow, or that's what it seemed like. I was a bit worried that maybe it was the damper touching the tyre. Have a listen to this video and see what you think. Good thing having GoPros. Not only is it's a memory of our day, but it also helps with a bit of diagnostics. If you think you know what that noise is, let me know in the comments below, because in a few days time I'm going to be whipping this all up and pulling all the bits and making sure that nothing's out of place. But it might not be this corner. I may be coming, it may all be assumptions. It might be something completely different. Next thing on my list is the washer bottle kept leaking. Sounds like a very minor thing, and I suppose it is, but it also wasn't. Me being me, I've placed the washer bottle in a rather strange place. Where is the washer bottle? There it is, look, it's there. So that's the later type washer bottle that I think normally lives in the boot. But for reasons only Kev knows, I've mounted it there. Originally, I had a bag like the old Works Minis set down there, but it kind of got in the way. It didn't really work. So yeah, I thought I'd mount it there. Not the easiest thing to access, but once the window is open, so it's all held in with R clips. Just pop the window open. Look. Put that there for safekeeping. And it just pops open. And during the build, that's something I was quite pleased of, converting a normal rear quarter-light window to piano hinge. So not only do we now have access to the fire extinguisher, the battery, the GoPro on the back window, oh yeah, and the rear seat belts. Imagine trying to get into all of that with fixed rear windows. It'd be a nightmare. But of course now, all you have to do is go, top me up, and we're good to go. But for some reason, it was leaking. When we were in service, they were going, Kev, look, there's fluid on the floor. So it's obviously traveling out, dripping out, coming out the bottom of the car. Worse than that, it was traveling along the floor and it was ending up in my footwell, which is not ideal. Luckily, it wasn't, it didn't affect my driving. I wasn't slipping and sliding, but I could have ended up with very wet feet, and obviously my feet sliding off the pedals at not the most ideal time. So that does genuinely need fixing or investigating. There we go. So we were topping it up and it's emptying that much. Not completely. So if it was a leaky hose, surely it would be empty. And this is brand new from Mini Spares, I think it was. I got all of it from. So go on in. It's on a proper mount. Doesn't look like it's split. I could be wrong. There you go, lives on that mount there. Rather strange, but that needs sorting before the next rally. What am I pointing at? Not my Mac Tools, the sponsor, but there's normally a GoPro there and it's not there now. That's one thing that he picked up on scrutineering. Let's dive inside. Might need to take a torch. Hang on, better than that. An upgrade that I've actually done since the rally is I've installed myself a little box up here, and this does power to the GoPro, which was one of the issues. And if I turn the power on, interior lights. Woohoo! Yeah, anyway, I did have interior lights for that event, but they were jerry-rigged. Now I've actually got a box up there that does the job, so that's good. But anyway, what the scrutineer picked up was on my GoPro here. As you can see, it's mounted on a on a sticky pad onto the windscreen, and he went, nope, you can't have that. He said, but you know, it'll be all right for today, but next event, please have a proper structural mount. He looked at this one here, which is nice and solid. That's really good. Looked at the one that was here. That's fine, even though it's, you know, it's not metal. It's just a proper plastic GoPro mount. But that one he didn't like. So somehow I need to. I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to actually mount it onto the roll cage and have it down like that. I don't know whether to. I don't know, but something, or to have a bracket from. Oh, I don't know. Any ideas? Come on, any ideas? Just there is perfect because I like that view. Obviously I like views of us inside the car on the GoPro, but I really do like to be able to see the footage over the bonnet. You see a lot more detail of the track and what's going on. So that's the power, which failed on me, but now with the box, that's a good one. And that is connects to the intercom, which is very kindly funded by some lovely people, and that gives you the audio. Katrin hates listening to herself on the audio, but again, most people do, don't they? Most people don't like the sound of their own voices. So yeah, come on. If you have a suggestion on how I can overcome that, please let me know in the comments below. Ugh. Back in the car again. I've just realised there were two other things. One was Katrin's got a watch for doing the timing. Timing is a big thing with rallying, and literally as we were going, the battery died. I put it down to the cold because, you know, the battery in the GoPro was dying, battery in our watch died. But luckily I have an old school rally stopwatch, which was kind of cool. There we go, look. Got the cable, press the button, stopwatch starts, press the button, it stops, press and hold, it resets. We may do with that, and to be honest, I think Katrin actually prefers that to the watch. But it's just one of those things that went wrong, but we had a backup, which is really good. The other thing that doesn't work very well in our Rally Mini is the heater. That's a genuine 1968 heater, that is. So not only does it make a lot of noise, it actually doesn't kick out an awful lot of heat. And one of the things we were suffering from was being very, very cold on arriving in stage one. And if it was any colder to the point that, you know, we had to clear the windscreen, I don't think it would have worked at all. So I'd love a heated windscreen, but that costs a lot of money, doesn't it? So maybe I need to look at an upgrade for the old heater. I could put like a slightly more modern one in there. As you can't see it because it's tucked right under there, I was almost thinking go for a modern motorsport heater. So if any of you got any suggestions for that, again, go on in, let me know. Doors. The doors were a little bit of an issue during the rally. The first one was my numbers kept coming off. These are actually on magnets, hence it's got tape on them, look. But because of the shape of the door, where it does that, where it's so cold, I put the magnets on and they just wouldn't bend to the shape of the door. Height of summer, no issue whatsoever, but yeah, it wouldn't do it. So we put tape on it. But we're having problems closing the doors. Look, we've even got some rub marks on the frame. And that's because, literally, the door is sagging, and it's the pins. Look at the pins. So if you lift the pin, you know, I put a lot of effort into making these doors fit when I built it, but now I have to lift the door and then close it. Now trying to do that when you're inside your car, inside a harness, and you're sort of tucked in like that, and the actual door is, I'm going to show you. And when you've got all your kit on, your helmet in your hands, and you've had to open the door for whatever reason, you don't really have enough room to get anywhere. So you can get to there, but you certainly can't do that. I've never actually repinned a set of external door hinges, so that's a job for the future. It's not going to stop us from rallying, but it's one of those things that it's on the to-do list, isn't it? Right, let's address the elephant in the room. Let's have a proper look at that dent, shall we? Now I've removed the duct tape, my goodness, I can really see a bit more damage. So the obvious bit that everybody saw was this. What I didn't notice on the day was this. Look at that. So it's, look at the damage in there. Woo. That looks like that's been pushed out. Although I remember the guys messing around with the bumper. I think they said it, possibly the bumper's broken, or the bracket on the bottom. Look at that for a profile shot. Woo! Is that fixable? But on the day, everyone was saying, Kev, you can push that out. You can, you know, you got some panel beating skills, you could do it. And I'd say, well, I don't really have any panel beating skills. There are many, many dents in this car from when it was an autocross Mini, and I deliberately didn't take the dents out of it because I knew this sort of thing was going to happen. And I was thinking, well, what's the point in spending all that time removing imperfections when I'm going to be hitting pallets? But it is one of those skills I'd very much like to learn. Is that a beginner job? I don't think it is. I've got a bunch of tools up there, look.
Later, in the void.
Right, we have booked into our next rally, which is on the 2nd and 3rd of March, I believe, down at Bovington. But things have escalated. The wheels are off, the suspension in bits, and worse than that, so's the engine, the head's off. So I'm going to need to spanner pretty hard to get this car ready. So if you don't want to miss that, please subscribe to our channel. Patrons know all about what's going on. So if you want to see that, go and check out our Patreon page. I've got to make sure that the car is good and ready to go, especially for our service crew. One of our service crew from South Down Stages was Scrap Heap Sean. He's a co-host on the Mini Life podcast, and I think he enjoyed himself. If you want to see that podcast here on YouTube, click on this video here.